Okay, let's talk about Paul. Paul turned his name from Saul to Paul, and then his writings become the Pauline teachings. Why? Because he spoke Sophia. Who was Sophia? Why do you see all these hookers named, oh, Sophia, they're doing trans, or women are like, the biggest church in the world is called what? Sophia, in Istanbul. Why is Istanbul important? Istanbul is a place where the east met the west through the river, the Bosphorus. It's where Eastern Rome met the Persians. It's where Muslims stopped at meeting with the Romans or Christians. Those so-called Christians. There's nobody I actually know who's a real Christian besides me, to be honest with you. And I even have to struggle with that a little bit too, because you have to forgive every person who wrongs you and not hold a grudge. You can't hold animosity. You can't want bad things to happen to them, even if they hurt you. And you have to be able to love unconditionally, even if that person will never do anything for you. So you should start off with taking care of plants and animals, not even your dog, because you still expect something back from it. Like watering a plant that feeds a whole bunch of bees. It's a good way of starting reciprocity. But don't expect to see that, because once you see it, then you're now expecting it. Paul was very short, but he was a very arrogant, stubborn, pious man because he knew his doctrines in Judaism. But remember, there's the synagogue of Satan had infiltrated the Jews at this point. The older Hebrews came from the river Palenque. And the river Palenque is in where? With modern day southern Mexico, basically Guatemala. Guatemala is Guantana, was called Guantana at the time. Guantana Buddha. Guantana Buddha was who? Mother was Maya. Why did they happen to the Mayans? They just disappeared? No, they just disappeared. They traveled across the river. Across the Pacific. Why did they do that? Because there was a vapor being sprayed across their country like chemtrails is now, which is killing the population. A mist that was falling from the sky. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Tell me that. So when they found all this stuff in Mexico, this is the Aztecs inherited it. Some of those were Hebrews, but the only people that were of the Hebrew tribe descendants were in the northern part of Mexico, kind of where my family would be from, like the Yaquis, a little bit south of that. I believe it was the one of the old tribe of Dan, because they had the snake. They were black hair. They're black people, woolly haired, with thick beards, and their people walked around with last names like Teclan, Hebrew names, and they had the first temple all through Mexico, built better to the specs of wisdom of Solomon than in Israel. So there is no temple, second temple in Israel. You go tell me, you go find it. You go stand on Mount Nebo and see if you can see what you see. Those Mormons knew what they were doing, because back in the 1800s, everybody in Britain, the British Crown, was talking about how this was the new old world. This was old Egypt. This is actually the old Hebrews were out here. And that's why John Smith and Brigham Young, they went out because they knew what they believed. Well, their business people went through hell to get to where they got to. When you work so hard for something, you know what happens? You feel like you deserve something. What do you get when you are now the leader? Bitches. What do bitches bring? Money and lies. What do money and lies bring? Arrogance, selfness, think you're better than other people. You think you can get away with whatever you want to. Every person who starts his own little religious cult starts off good, but then he wants one woman, then he wants them younger, then he wants all the women, and he makes sure nobody else can have any. This is how every man I've ever experienced with money gets. They get this thing where they want all the women. Like, we're in my house. They would get like this, like, they would want all three of them, even though they couldn't take care of all three. They just wanted all the attention. And if you didn't make money as much as they did, they would be like this evil look. Men are not good men to other men because of women. They bring a different side out of men. Imagine this. Imagine a world with no women. This world would be completely solved. I guarantee I'm going to grab one of these cards just to see what I pull up. I have no idea what it's going to say. Oh, nothing on that one. Blank. Blank card. That wasn't really a one. Let me pull another one. Fat bitch. Yeah. They become fat bitches, lazy at home. And we be fighting over these fat bitches because you don't want them being seen with nobody else because your ego can't take you being cheated on because you did all these things for them. But guess what? You could cheat on them. You could be a hypocrite. Well, you can't call yourself a man and a hypocrite. Those two things don't go together. A man must do what he says he's going to do. A man has to lead by example. A bitch doesn't have. By definition, I'm a bitch. I can do whatever I want to. So why would you want to play that game? No. I want, or you should want, somebody who builds something with you, earns something with you in a group. Think about this. A lot of countries, especially these own countries, spend most of the family time like uncles living in one big house with their kids and their generational families living off like in a compound. All together under one roof. We got it so stupid in America. Like me and my mom and my stepdad live across the street from my Nina and my cousin. And then we used to live across the street from our other family, my mom's other sisters. We always lived across the street from each other, which is all right, cool. But imagine if we saved $700,000 in mortgages and we mortgaged it all into like a $500,000 mortgage instead of $300,000 mortgages. Because you want to have your own. I had to have my own car. Oh, I have to have my own. I got to have my own space away from my family and sister because I want to be able to be a different person than they think I am. Used to share a bed together. 3 at the bottom and 3 at the top. You know, my mom had a room. Women back in Tolleson, like 5 girls would share one bedroom. Like, stick to what you're used to. Don't follow these Americans that are unhappy. And separation, you divide. Think about this. Americans that have been here for a while, white people, most of the part, they've been here for 3 generations. They don't talk to their family that all came in at the same time. They've all gone their separate ways. They don't even know if people are still alive. Are they related to those people? But Mexicans and Muslims and people of culture, they know all their 3rd cousins, 4th cousins. My 3rd cousins are like my 1st cousins. I go to their house the same way. We all know each other like the back of our hands. I know exactly how they were raised. We all went to the same high schools. Like, we're a clan. And we don't need to hang out. We're good together. But I'm learning, though, we secretly hate on each other. We don't want the other ones to do better than us. We want to be the star of the show. Or we're afraid of being the star of the show. Because then if you become the star of the show, everybody hates on you. Because I was the star of the show for years. I had the most money. I was out Scottsdale. I had all the connections. But all that did was make me feel like I was like Kanye. I spent $400 on this just to be like, nigga, you ain't up on this. They can't even go to the grocery store. What's up? Some jeans that's clean and a shirt that's, whatever it was. Because you're trying to stunt on your brother to make him feel bad that he don't got what you got. And you wanted to make that girl know that you got that shit, he don't, so you want to come with me. For somebody to win, somebody has to lose. We are committing faults on each other to get through. If there were no women, guess what it would be like? Every problem would be solved on this fucking planet. There would be no food. There would be no worry about land. It would be like a nice Templar. We'd just be working together, handing things out. Because we'd have nothing to fight for. Men don't see lustful situations with men like as, that's mine. No. They're like really okay with sharing that and not really going to whatever. They're like, it's a whole different ball game. Because there's not, they're like, well, that's my wife. You can't touch that. Because now I'm looking like a bitch. I'm disrespected. Man, but yet you jacking off a couple times in the day, not expecting she needs to get hers. And then you out there trying to fuck other girls. And then you only got 2 coming you in a day. And you spend half of it on jacking off. So like, how fair of a leader are you? You don't even think about the other person's needs. Oh, but I pay for the bills. Well, you want it that way because you need her to be less than you. Why? Because you're insecure. Women can make more money than men without investing. Yeah, you gotta let them flirt a little bit. My girl, but guess what? I know how to do that shit too as a guy and working at nightclubs. As long as you trust each other, I I don't understand why people are so weak. Honestly, I'm starting to think to myself in the future, it's like, I want to be able to go out and network with my significant other, not like, who's talking to you over there? Just get his number. And you just look like a bitch and everybody sees it on your read your body language. So like, let's just go out and just play with the wind. Oh yeah, why not? We both dress up as feminine one day or masculine. And guess what? Now it's not cheating because we're just both playing the game and flirting with that motherfucker just to see how much networking we can get out of him or what type of secrets we can learn. And it's not cheating. Because we're doing it together. As a team. Right, Daddy? I did that for you. You would like that, wouldn't you? No, we did it for us. Team us. I know people in California, though, made all the money, baby mama house bigger than theirs, put 3 kids through Stanford and Berkeley at the same time, got own apartments, and then their kids don't even respect them. You know, nobody in my family could send one of us to Berkeley or to Stanford, pay for apartment in Palo Alto when there's 3 other brothers and we don't even have to share a place together, and we each got Audis. Do you see how it's like people don't realize what they got? Because they had seen what other people had to work with. I got to see a whole level of society and what it really does. And what that really does is they don't understand what it took for that to be there. Because they just seen it happen easy. Because Dad doesn't tell them exactly how it had to be. And how he had to work so hard for that. And how he had to do all these different things to network and be away for a while. Men don't tell their kids the truth. I wish I didn't have any kids. I wish I would have stayed by myself. I wish I would have learned myself before I got stuck with your mom and had to be dealing with her borderline personality disease and narcissism every day that makes me feel like shit. And guess what? I can't say nothing because if I fight with her, she's going to never end it. And I can't win with her because she doesn't never lose on those fights because she goes crazy. So what do I need? Happy life and peace. So what am I going to do? Just keep working like a dumb little man. Not get any laid, not get laid, not get what I want, not get any respect because I'm afraid of her. Because you didn't know who she was until you put everything down. Guys do the same thing. The honeymoon phase, it don't last forever. Just enjoy it for a little while. The best thing about learning something from a new person. I like meeting new people more than anything and learning new things. Like, there's not one person in this world that I said, hey, I would still want to be with, that I would have wished I sold my soul for like all these guys do for a woman. What woman, 10 years later, do you still want to be with the same over another woman? None of you, don't lie to me. I'll look at you straight in your face like, hey, fo. Oh, I know. Weren't you just on a couple of websites the other day just hitting on anything that walks? So every time a big butt walks by, you staring? How much porn have you watched in that? Because you're still trying to live out experiences you've not yet had. And I felt bad for a lot of these people. Because you know what? They didn't get to work in the nightclubs like I did. They didn't have... If you only can go out on the weekends, you're not going to get these experiences in. Like, I had to go out 15 years, 20 years, 5 nights a week, working in the industry, making money in the industry, doing everything, network, to be able to have a lot of these experiences. And I still feel like I didn't have enough as I should have. Or what it seemed like I did. So you telling me that you, working a regular job, with girlfriends here and there and kids, got a tenth of it? No, I already know that's not true. Unless you just got a really big slong and you're actually pretty gangster and just pull it straight out like, hey, what you talking about, girl? Come here. Like, you know, I got some gangster, like, at the end of the night, the guy who walks up to the table didn't spend no money. I'm not going to say a race or anything, but yeah, I'm just going to go... Girls just like to disrespect the guy who's spending money because they see him as a trick. But how disrespectful would it be you just move $4,000 on a table taking care of a girl and her friends, and so a guy who didn't spend any money, because the white guys won't really do this unless he's just a drunk fool. But you just come up to the table and you see, hey, ma, come on. You grab her and pull her away. Because the guy who's spending money, he's not going to be all aggressive on her like that because he doesn't need to be. It's his table. He's trying to take care of everybody else, make sure they have a good time too. But you want attention, and you're drunk now. So what you're going to do, you're going to take off with that guy that you have control over because you can just walk away from him, and he looks like he might be a good time. This guy you might have to deal with, you know, I don't want something after this. And yeah, you wanted to go out, so it's a transaction on both ends. You just want to win, so you want to make him look stupid. And why guys act the way they do, because women have do this. I'm trying to tell you, been around so many times. I feel so bad for the people who spend money at the table. And I don't want to spend all that money at the table. I only want to be at tables. So you know what I would do? Make sure stuff like that didn't happen. Because if that happened to me, I'm not playing that game no more. Yeah, right. You think I'm going to go next week and do that again? You got to let them eat sometimes. They got to win sometimes. So I made sure that happened. The last thing I ever did was walk away with 4 bitches from the table like some promoters, other guys do, while the guy who just spent all the money didn't. Or didn't even get any attention to get any introduction. I ate last. I rather have the guy who allowed me to entertain a big group of people and will keep on doing this. He's cool and we can have after parties at his house. Then go have sex with this one girl for 15 minutes at my place. And then next week I'm going to be in a same situation trying to find somebody else who's going to cover that. Nah, think longevity. But also, you give something to somebody that's too easy, they'll never come back. Oh, victims make victims. You give a guy sex the first night, it's not me. Because whenever I match the energy of the girl I'm with. They not coming back for the most part because they just got one that they didn't have to pay for or give any energy towards. It's true. The only reason men are with certain women is because they've been beaten so bad by them and down. They've already too invested to go backwards on, and they don't want to stay with somebody else because they already took all those L's. That's how I felt for a while. Just kept going lower, deeper, deeper. No, we'll figure this out. We'll get to it because I'm already this depth, deep, and sucked. My pride's already this broken. I already gone through this. It's okay to lose a game if it's a shitty prize. And a person that doesn't know thyself or want to know thyself or has personality diseases like borderline, you will never fix that. Especially if you have parts of it yourself, which you probably do, because you wouldn't date somebody that has it unless you were a little bit too. I learned that the hard way because I dated all these girls that had it because they loved the most, but they could be the hatred the most because that's what it is. You either align with them or you don't. When you align, you're best friends. But when you don't align, off they head. You make their life hell. I was raised by women like that. And I saw all the men doing everything. They were like perfect men and taking care of the women and the women were such. But it's because they could never win a fight with their wife. And they were wives only hung out with their sisters. So all their best friends now were the wives' husbands. So now they were married in. I don't want to see any more men passive aggressive dying in resentment. Because it's not worth it to be a man, have a family these days for what it costs you. And because you're not going to get the respect back. You're not going to get what you want back. You might get a grandchild and maybe bring you some joy or something like that. But what you think you're going to get from this game, for what you do by having a kid with these people, it's never going to pan out the way you think it is. And most of the time, you might not even be with that woman anymore. Men only stay with the woman that they love. And they only raise kids from women they love or loved. If a man doesn't love the woman or doesn't even give a shit about her, he won't even think twice about it. He'll go find another woman in another state and have a family. Take care of her kids before he takes care of his own. I've seen it my whole life. Noticed it. Story of Jacob. He didn't love his first wife. He felt tricked. So who were his children? He probably wasn't over at that house. He was with his other wife he really loved. And guess who his kids were the best? The coat of many colors. Jacob. Joseph, the dream reader. Why did they get all upset? Because his brother told him, I had a dream that one day I'm going to be above all you. Oh, you're the youngest. You're not going to be. But you're my dad's favorite. So he got jealous. He sold him into slavery. Left him in a thing to die. And what does he do? Gets saved by who? Ishmaelites. Isaac's older brother, the real one who was actually the first born child of his wife, his consort, that God gave him this first child. Oh, yeah. Remember his wife got super pissed as she actually was having a baby too now, so she wanted Hagar to leave. Basically, you told me to have a baby with this girl because you couldn't have one. Now I did. You want me to send my oldest son off because now you're having a baby? That's insecure bitch issues. But she must have came with a check. But she also tricked her husband into giving the birthright to Jacob, not Esau. She kind of was a manipulative woman. He got the wrong one. So when you look at these people that come from you say you're an Israelite, it means you're trauma. You have trauma of the yin yang. The whole story of the Old Testament shows, where does the trauma start? Starts when after Abraham, because Abraham was willing to do anything for God. You're all transgenders. Abraham was the first basically transgender person. He cut his skin off his dick at 99 years old because God asked him to. That's why he's God's friend. Because isn't the saying that Jesus spoke, if your hand is what causes you to sin, you should cut it off. What causes every man to sin? Cheat. Be different. Why is a man unclean to go into the temple for 2 days? Because he has ejaculated. You're unclean for 2 days after you ejaculated. You have to rebuild all that spiritual juice, your mojo, just to start back where you were at. You're not supposed to have ejaculation of your sperm unless you're having a child. Real game. That's why they lived a lot longer, 120 years. Methuselah, 969 years. Enoch, 365. There's so much numerology to everything. When you read the Old Testament and you see Deuteronomy 32:17, pay attention to the numbers and the words and put them all three together, and that's how you sew it together to know truth. Because it's three things in one. And when something's truthful, you can take it apart three ways and put it back three ways, and it'll always come back the same. Joseph, the interpreter of dreams. That's my archetype. Sold out by his most loved ones because they didn't like losing to him, and he always was pretty gangster, and he was Grandma and Grandpa's favorite. I want to be Mom and Dad's favorite. I want Mom and Dad to love my kids like they love him. Why do they love him more? Because he stood up to them and didn't just let her be a tyrant. Like, I stood up to my nana. Like, no. I used to think my grandpa was a little... He said, listen, this 4'11" woman who didn't work. Just, I don't want this. So I matched her in her craziness. So I learned how to become a crazy and vindictive bad person too. Because I learned from the gangsteress of my mom. And my mom's pretty gangster too. But what happens when you learn from women how to be a crazy, vindictive person when you're skinny like this? You get punched in the face and you get into fights and you get shot and you shoot back. And now you have felonies. You're giving advice for people that don't know what the outcome of it is when you're actually a man. Women shouldn't even be raising children like men. A wise man who's healed should be raising children. They are so much more gentle, calm. My grandpa used to be like, honey, sweetheart. My dad, I love you. Kiss me. I was not told I love you by my freaking mom's sisters and stuff like that. That's just like our side family doesn't expression of love. Like I don't say those words. Like I wasn't used to like, but I'm used to saying, oh sweetheart, honey, oh you want this? Let's make some pajamas and stuff on my white side of the family because I was the only child. And it was like, oh it's like camping. It was like, oh it's like it was just a perfect little childhood. And when I come back to the West, my cousin would be so jealous of me because I had all these toys and I'd be so happy I just came back from Prescott camping with my grandpa, or you know I had the whole backyard building mud. Like it was awesome. It was awesome that so many relatives wanted to watch me on the weekends, not because they had to, because they wanted to. My grandma on the weekdays to go to school. My mom went to work at 4 a.m. every morning, worked hard her whole life. My mom bust her ass. And give my mom that. So it's hard to be very feminine and loving like that when you have to go to work every day and pay all the bills when she was by herself out there. Her and my dad got. But my dad didn't realize my mom was going to be just like his mom. She ain't going to listen to nobody and taking nobody. She just heard that the women, no, I'm not looking at it. No. My dad just never met a Mexican girl before because he was from Detroit. And he didn't realize everybody secretly doesn't want anybody else to do better than each other, because I'm not asking. I don't want to be the best, but I don't want you to be better than me either. It's just all be the same. And if you are this better, Oh, you think you're better than us? Oh, you think you have more tools than us? Oh, you're just trying to show off, aren't you? Not because that's what they're doing. Because that's what they would do if they were in those shoes. They just never have been. You're projecting. Projecting. When you say somebody else makes you feel this way, or you say you're just trying to do this because you want to do this, you're only offering to help so you can tell everybody you help. I've never been that person in my life because that denuls the fact of helping people. You know what that does? Destroys it. That's not a deed anymore. I did it for selfish reasons. Now I'm not helping nobody. I'm just trying to help myself. That's what you would do, so you're afraid of me doing what you would do. I know how to be the perfect criminal because I can think of what I would have did in my old ways, like how to cheat and do things like that, because I would think like that. But now I realize I don't need to. I don't want to be that person. Ask my friends, you play a game of Risk with me? And that's for the first time. I'm going to tell your ass real quick. I'm not finna lose. Everybody hates playing me in this game. And don't you try to cheat one time on this game. They're like, why? Because I know how to cheat better than you, and I already know what you're going to cheat before. There's no way you're going to get one off on me cheating. They're like, all right. And then every single time, they still try. And I catch them every time. Not because I am, because that's what I would have did in the past. I just think, what would have old Chris done? What would be my motive, and what would make me take it to the next level to win? Just put yourself in the other person's shoes and how they have their life and what they would be willing to do to have what you have, or beat you, because they don't win ever. I used to win so much I would be okay with letting other people win, just because it's like they're not gonna want to keep playing with me if I always win. Like I gotta give them a bone every once in a while. That's how bad I was. I used to just love to fucking win. Mine was my dad's son when it came to that. My dad just wanted everything. Fucking boxing, wrestling, fighting, track and field. Fucking, he was the black high school. At the black high school, he was the white running back and the track star. With no dad. His dad moved to Phoenix and took care of his new wife and had started a new family. Why? Because he was traumatized from my grandma, who was a sugar baby, and had all these men after him, and my grandpa couldn't make money like that. So guess what? My grandpa got treated like a little bitch. And my dad didn't know that. His dad, didn't do it because he wanted to, because his mom, she could go get it, and she would probably talk shit because he couldn't like that. He was a party guy. Everybody liked him. He was like me, but when you're double D, blonde, blue eyes, blonde hair, and you were abandoned at 16 years old to raise yourself, you're going to work the streets. And my grandma was good at it. My grandma used to milk every man she was ever with and give me $100 every time she saw me. Give my dad money every time. She was Robin Hood. For real, for real. My grandma didn't live past 66, though. She had breast cancer. She barely sees. She smoked. Like, short-lived. But that's why I was always kind of with the hustling girls, because I was like, you only know about my grandma Bonnie. My Aunt Don never even had to work. My dad was a nightclub promoter, owner type thing. Because my grandma Bonnie, man. As funny as it, my Uncle John, my dad's other brother, who's not through my grandpa, but she told him his whole life that he was my grandpa's son, even though he wasn't. His last name was Denwood too. Because Jimmy Hoffa got her pregnant. The Teamsters. The guy who was the head of the Teamsters that got buried inside the Giants field or whatever. Yeah, she was messing with men like that. And when you get a lot of money and you don't know how to save it, you lose it all. She had $800,000 in the 70s. Gross Point, living like these wealthy people. Guess what she did? Tricked it off on cheetahs, little baby cheetahs. She loved cats. An $800,000 house back then. My grandpa was with her at the time, though. And guess what? How you feel when you're with a woman who has all that and you don't contribute to none of that? Oh, she lets you know that you don't. She makes you feel that way, and your dick don't work. I've dated really wealthy women, and everyone's like, yeah, man, your girlfriend's hot, she's a money thing. Yeah, but I'm not going to meet her dad unless I get something legit. Because her dad still run the show. Ain't no dad getting you to walk away with no check of his that he helped her out with. It's not going to happen. I've been there, done that. You don't even know the women I've dated who have shit. But guess what? None of it was ever mine. Whatever I had, I was down to share with them and build with them. But it's not they earned it on their own. They got it with their father, and their father don't play that. He ain't ever giving another man no money. I think he helped make Why not? Because men don't want other men to have more than them or to piggyback off what they worked for. It's terrible. It's all because of women.